Good morning. Good morning. I was jamming to the intro this morning. Good morning. Happy Saturday to you all. So very glad to see you on this Saturday morning. I'm about to say Wednesday, y'all. On this Saturday morning, like I always say, I have been to the gym. I am pumped and I am ready to talk with our new guest. Hope you had a great week. Hope you're excited about the things that may happen today in your life, and as you just go throughout your day to day. Once again, I am Impact, here to encourage you, to uplift you, just to share what people are doing in their lives and how they're moving forward. So, with that being said, I want to introduce y'all to another dynamic guest, Miss Dr. Tracey Ray.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you doing? And I would
Good,
have to
good.
agree. I was jamming to the intro too. Um, what a beautiful morning, and I'm so glad to be here with you today.
Yeah. We are so excited to have you on the show. Um, and for people to hear your amazing story and what you are doing. I know who you are, but it's just I've been telling everybody when they come on this show, I kind of go through your bio and just kind of read, and it's just be like, man, to see the things that you are doing,
Mm.
uh, and it's just amazing. So once again, we want to welcome you to the show. We are so excited, just to hear about who you are and the things that you are doing in the Burgal area, Wilmington area. We're just so excited. But with that being said, I want to ask you what I ask everybody when we start off. Tell
Mhm.
us, who is Dr. Tracey Ray?
Oh, all right now. Whew, that is one of the hardest questions to answer. I hope you know that. So who am I? First of all, I'm grateful to be here. I'm thankful to be on I Am Impact. I first have to give credit to God because everything about who I am and the journey that He's allowed me to be on is all because of Him and because of what He's brought me through. So, who am I? I would classify myself as an agent of empowerment. God has blessed me to go through, overcome so many challenges in my life, has empowered me to live in a space now of joy and absolute peace and clarity. And I feel like I absolutely let me clarify that I absolutely know that my calling and my purpose is to be an agent for others to get to that same place, to be empowered, to be in a place of peace, a place of clarity, and to know who they are and for what reason they're here, and that God continues to lend His breath to us each day. So that's who I am. I'm
Wow,
just trying to help others to achieve what God has done for me.
wow. That is amazing. And actually, the last couple of weeks, I kind of been in my study learning about purpose and
Mhm.
the meaning of purpose and just really digging deep. And one thing, and so I'm glad you said about knowing your purpose, because
Mhm.
one thing I found out is sometimes we get our gift confused with our purpose, because
Mm.
we think that,
Yeah.
okay, I'm good at this, right, at something, this is my purpose. But
Mhm.
actually that just well may be your gift and not your purpose, because as I dig deeper, purpose is the cause, fulfilling of something. And when you say that you are
Mhm.
fulfilling a cause, you are saying, hey, I have been through something, and we're going to talk about some of the things that you have been through, but you
Mhm.
have been through something. Now you have a survival story to share and to bring hope to others.
Yeah.
That's purpose, different from our gifting. So with that being said, I know you just said what's your purpose, but where did that come from? What were some of the struggles that got you to where you are now and doing the things that you do?
So I would say, well, first of all, I do want to just kind of loop back to something that you just said. I think that our giftedness, our what God has, that's a tool, right? If I'm building a house, I need tools to do that. I need, my toolbox needs to be filled with certain tools. And I believe that our giftedness, the things that come really natural to us, that God birthed in us, are the things that are used to help us do the thing that He's called us to.
That's
So it
good.
all, works together just like that, right? And with not all of it has to be in there, and some of it is through fire.
Mhm.
Because we know that things are refined through fire and through tough spots, and that's how some of our tools are refined. So I would say the tool that God has given me, that through fire, it's been some fire, but also some dynamic times. I have an amazing family, amazing tribe, if you will, that I get to do this life with. um, but the things that I've been through, as far as I'm a survivor of teen dating violence from back when no one was even talking about it. And I have to say that I knew God seeded this in me over 30 years ago, when as a probably 35 years ago. So before my son even entered this earth, I remember there was a situation of harm, and I went to get protected, and I wasn't able to because of the legalities. I wasn't living with the person, and cohabitation was against the law. So because I wasn't breaking the law, I wasn't able to get the protection that I needed at that time. However, in that moment, God sealed something. And
Mm.
I knew that wasn't going to be the end of the story for me. I didn't know how, but I knew that I was going to be a part of the voice that would change that. And this is me, right out from being a teenager, not knowing anything about how this process will work. And I'm saying that to say that there are moments in our lives when God seals something, something resonates so deeply, and capture that. Hold on to that, because God's going to do something with that. That wasn't just something that came from us. That was something that He seeded, and
Amen.
He did. And we look 30 years, into, now progress that 30 years. God has allowed me to be appointed by our governor of North Carolina to serve on a women's commission to talk about and inform policy related to domestic violence and women's issues around the state of North Carolina, and to now be on the North Carolina Coalition Against Domestic Violence, where we work on best practices and policies for domestic violence service providers across the state of North Carolina. So I had looking back at that moment, I didn't know what He was going to do with it, but He used that as a seed, and then he's developed the tools in me to do what He's called me to do. So I'm absolutely grateful for that space, and also to be working with a national organization, the North American division, and we travel across the United States, and also next month we'll be in Canada doing work with churches to prepare churches to respond effectively to abuse. Because while there's more work being done, there's still more work that needs to be done. And again, who would have? I could not have imagined that God would use me in these spaces, and these spaces were spaces that He called me to. They weren't places and spaces that I interviewed for or applied for. Their spaces that He opened the door because He prepared me to walk in them.
Wow. I mean, you know, I'm hearing you talk, and we have had some other guests on, and every time I hear the stories of people, of individuals that's on the show, it's like this is the reason why I am Impact
Mhm.
is here, because people need to hear the stories of overcoming first, and then seeing what we are doing to impact the world.
Mhm.
I say it all the time. The reason why I felt that God allowed me to have this platform, because we have so much information that's on social media, so much negative information that's on social media. Let's let's show people where people are truly walking in their purpose with integrity. First of all, according to the will of God, knowing that He is the source of everything, and like I've been saying lately, not doing selfish things, but doing selfless things.
That's
You know,
beautiful.
yeah, and so that, I mean, every time I hear like this hearing you talk, Dr. Ray, it's just like this is why impact is impact, because people need to hear the positive things and the encouragement and help, because I hope, my hope is that it may be a young lady that's going through sexual violence, or going through abuse, that will hear this show, that will see. And I know later on we got some information we're going to share, but that they can get the help that they need. So just once again, thank you for what you're doing, uh,
Mhm.
Dr. Ray. And I have your bio, so I'm gonna read some of the stuff, because once again, you talking about the sacrifice,
Mhm.
because this is only one part of what you do. You do a lot for the community. You talked about your family. We you're doing so much. And so my one question, before I go to your bio and kind of some of the other things you do, where do you where do I know it comes from God, but just kind of
Mhm.
encourage somebody with the everyday drive of Tracey. Tracy.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
So I would answer that as, where does my why come from? Where is my, what motivates my why and motivates me to continue in this work? And honestly, last year, this last year, with just a lot of things in administration and just nonprofit work in general became extremely difficult this past year. So that was something that I actually had to really sit with, and do a lot of grounding and just a lot of realignment to reconnect with my why. My why is that I don't want anyone to go through what I've been through and not have resources available to them, or not know that there are resources available to them. If I can help someone with my narrative, with just journeying alongside someone to say, hey, you know what, well, I'll do this with you, or I'll be in the space with you while you make these decisions. I want to lend my life and my experience to help others not to have to go through this or to continue to go through it. And then I look at all of my nieces, my granddaughter, and I don't want them to have to experience the things that I experience. If I can be a part of changing that narrative, I want to do that. And the only way I feel like I can do that is to be present in the process and be authentically who I am, every part of who I am, because all of it contributes and all of it matters.
Yeah. I'm awesome, awesome. And I would say, because you did something on TikTok not too long ago, filling my cup, 70-day challenge.
Hmm.
You know what was that? I mean, in in my opinion, that was another way of you just showing, look, this is another step to help somebody get to where they need to be. So can you share like where all that came from? The
Sure. It was my own health journey that there's something, so and we're going to get into that. So I'm so glad you asked that question. So it was my own health journey, and not just physical health, mental health journey, grounding and saying, you know what, how can I show up as my best self?
mm,
Someone said not long ago that the question came up about happiness, and the person, and I would say, well, I'm happy. I'm because generally I'll be literally here by myself in my home or in my happy place, which is my backyard, and I'm just like, thank you, Lord. I'm just so happy, like no reason but His joy in me. And when the person said that, I thought, wow, that's pretty sad that they don't know if they're happy, or they're reasonably happy but not absolutely definitively happy. And I thought, you know what, we need to fill our cups, because even that person who said it is doing marvelous work. I mean, marvelous work to help others. But often, and this is another part of the work that I do, is that I'm a certified life and leadership coach, and I work with leaders who do a lot of human service work. And a lot of those leaders, including myself at some points, are doing that from an empty place. We're trying to pour from an empty vessel, or we're running on fumes. And my heart went out to that person, but it also made me look at myself and say, how can I be intentional about filling my cup? And so that campaign was that for 70 days, we're going to build community, and we're going to do one thing intentionally every day, even if it's walking and grounding, if it's being pleasant to someone. If it's walking, I have a physical fitness coach at the time, and we're starting again on Monday. But we would literally walk trails in the woods in our area, and then talk about, not just walk, but we would talk about the different birds we were hearing, or the squirrels. We saw a fox once. I mean, just connecting with nature to ground and realize that there's something bigger than us, and something that is so beautiful that is not impacted by to-do lists and grants and all of the things that we get caught up in. And it helps us to remember, just keep serving, just keep putting one step in front of the other, and he's gonna continue to make a way. And I have to say that he continues to do that, and I testify of that, whether I'm talking here on this podcast or whether I'm in a boardroom. I will say personally, yeah, all these things logistically have happened, and it's great, and we've been able to overcome and sustain. But personally, for me, God continues to bring us through, and I just want to bring people to that space.
Amen. Amen. So I wrote it down. It being being my best self. How do I be my best self? And that's, if you're watching, that's a question even for you. How can you be your best self? And I'll say, first of all, kind of what you said was, it's stepping away from everything that we're doing, stepping away from the noise,
Yes.
getting alone, in the silence, and
Hmm.
really examining who you are.
Yes.
Um, I totally agree. I just, just talking with you, and I thought about it. I haven't did it in a while. I'm about to start back doing it. I used to take spiritual baths. On Friday nights. That was my downtime. I would go, and I had kids. We had kids in the house, and my wife was there. But they everybody knew that was my time where I went in there. I had my fruit and my juice. I had my soothing music. But that time was just for me to sit in there and just reflect, think.
Mhm.
And so I think it's well needed. So
Yes.
filling your cup may not be, the journey of, walking, but finding something to
Yes.
do, something to detach from the world, to kind of find who you are, and to better understand uh, some of what God is trying to give us. We need it. We need it. We need it, and especially when you're doing so much to help others. And when I say doing so
Mhm.
much to help others, it's not saying it's a bad thing, because we enjoy
Right.
what we do,
Right.
but it's just
Right.
a lot, so you have to detach. So I'm just thinking about the person that's struggling. you know if you're struggling out there, the one thing, get alone, seek the face of God,
Yes.
and ask God to show you what you need to do. Ask God to really show you your purpose, because when you find your cause, I tell you, it hit different.
Everything is different. Everything is different at that
Yeah.
point. And I so appreciate you saying that, Eric. And I love that, a spiritual bath. Because, and so, just if I can loop back just a moment, we are launching a new 70 days to filling your cup on this coming Monday. And my social is Cup of Empowerment, because it's all about empowerment. Once you are empowered, no one can take that from you. And I do want to say that one of the things I tell our team, I don't like to say my staff, but our team, is that because sometimes we get discouraged. Maybe a person goes back, or they don't have a healthy transition out of the shelter, whatever it might be. And I always say, you know what? Well, the moment they connected with us, they started being empowered, because our services is our empowerment focus. So even if they go back, they don't go back the same. They go back with more information. They go back more empowered. It's like that light bulb turns on, and no one could turn that off. People could dim it, but no one could turn that off, because once you know it, you know it. And those are seeds that are planted. So if we go to our spaces and realign, regroup, like you said, the spiritual bath for me is on the trails, or in here, like literally in this space I'm in. I don't know if you can see behind me, I have my salt lamp on. I have a rain drum. I don't put it out in the rain because I love it so much, but it gives like really clarifying sounds if you just hit it with these rubber little things. And it's a place of peace and serenity for me. No electronic devices in here other than, I'm recording to share out with the world. But Yeah, we have to have those spaces so that we can continue to do this work that God's called us to do. And this is much of a blessing for us, as I hope it is for the people that we're serving.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. When you were talking, what came to mind was it's First Samuel chapter 17, verse 29. David is talking to his brother, and he's talking to the other soldiers, and is they're getting ready to have the battle with Goliath, and he
Okay.
says, and so he's asking them questions, and then David says this right here, and I seen it for the first time like a week or so ago, and it kind of hit me. He says, "Is there not a cause?"
Mm,
And
that's
so when I think about what you're doing, I think about the people that that we talk to when we talk about impacting the world. I felt, to me, it was like David at that moment, he knew his purpose right then.
mm, right,
You
right.
know, he understood his gifts in the beginning because he was out in the wilderness with the lions, and I say lion, tigers, and bears. While he was watching the sheep, so he
Mhm.
knew he had the gift in that right there. But when that moment, you know, is there not a cause?
Mm,
And I hear that when you talk,
good.
you answer the question. My purpose, my cause is to defeat the Goliaths that have
Mhm.
that have hurt women in such a bad way, to say, hey, I'm going to help you get through this right here. Going back to tools, let me
Mhm.
give you some tools to overcome what has been in your path, and these are the ways for you to help you move forward. Awesome.
Wow, that's beautiful. I love that. I love how you captured that, and I do feel that because had if it's not a cause, I don't nothing else could drive. And not just me, I'm talking about dedicate yourself. I mean, with the work that you do outside of, your other work, but that drives you to keep going in the face of so much adversity, in the face of when it doesn't necessarily look like it's going to work. One, we have to remember that it's not our victory, it's God's victory. So we don't take credit for that, and or anything. We give it over to Him and just keep moving, even when it looks like we don't see any progress.
Yeah, yeah, and Tracey, I just felt this really strong. I know we got to move on, but the one thing a lot of people do, or I hear people say,
Mhm.
I gotta wait for this. I gotta wait for this before I can move forward. And
Mm,
I'm even it popped up. I'm even thinking about when you said that you were young when you were going through some things, and you could have easily said, "I'm gonna wait, a little longer. I'm not
mhm.
going to try to help myself get out of this situation. I'm not going to look for resources. I'm definitely not going to say, hey, I'm going to advocate for other people." And my thing is, just start moving,
Yeah.
because we can always find an excuse to not move forward or not get out of some of the situations that come up that we know that they're not healthy for us. And now I'm not neglecting, because I know, we talk about abuse and stuff. Some of that
Mhm.
is mental as well. But I'm
Yeah.
saying, uh, but sometimes it's just us just saying, hey, let me, you got the Bible says, if you draw closer to me, I'll draw closer to you. That's Bible. And
Okay.
so it's like, in the midst of things, are we diligently seeking the face of God? God says another one. He said, He's a rewarder of those who diligently seek Him. So are we seeking Him in the midst of some of the things that we're going through? And I know they're hard, but
Mhm.
everybody that came on, and the reason why y'all are on here is because the foundation is on Christ.
Yeah.
It changes things. You are a third guest, and every one of us are saying the same thing. And it's not that we wrote these things out. This right here is us just sharing our hearts on here. We say, hey, we had a struggle. We didn't give up. and we put Christ first.
Yes. That's
That,
beautiful. Yeah.
that's the difference.
And I like how you put that. So if you might allow me to just kind of expand that
Yeah, yeah.
dialogue just a bit. So and the three different areas I work in are with survivors, with leaders, and then with churches. And the churches are on a global level. The leaders are as well. Survivors are more intentional in our community areas. So and God just gave me this, and it had to be for this, Eric. I'm Minister Bowden. I'm sorry. So I was getting up out of it. No, I was sitting in a chair. I had taken my break between work and then coming home to work on some projects, and I'm working on a project which I'll share on the 70-day journey. So please join us so you can learn more about it. But and one of the concepts was I was sitting there and I knew I only give myself I give myself a short time window to sit there and reprieve and be ready to do next step before the end of the day. And as I was sitting there, it was hard to get up. I was so tired. It was so much had been going on that day. But once I stood up, and then it was like the Holy Spirit was like, I was motivated. I was like, oh, I got to do this. I got to do this. But I caught it in that moment. What he was showing me is that the hardest part, like you just explained, was getting out of the chair.
Yeah.
Because once I got out of the chair, I had the motivation to do the things I needed to do. I could see clearly what needed to be done, and I was moving. I was moving. So it wasn't a physical reason I couldn't get out of the chair. It was emotional. It was because I was emotionally drained. Which was valid, but God had a next step. But in order for me to get to that next step, I had to get up. I literally just had to get up. That's it. And so the work with victims or survivors is getting up, making the decision to take the next step. And one of my coaching methodologies is a tree to tree experience, because sometimes we're in a forest in every way. Psychologically, you're in a forest. You may see a clearing miles away, but how to get to that clearing is another thing. So I coach on the aspect of we're just going to take it one tree at a time.
Yes.
We're just going to work to get to that one tree at a time. So the decision, even today, for someone who may be listening, that one tree may be, I'm going to make the decision that I am now going to seek resources, and I am going to call this number. And we're going to celebrate that because you got to the next tree. That was a hard decision. That's a hard decision for some people to make. For leaders, it feels like you have the weight of an organization sitting in your lap and you can't even rise. Like, I can't do another thing. We don't have the funding. We're restructuring, laying people off, all the things. And it can feel mentally draining. So it's, how can we do the one thing? Return the next email might be getting to the next tree because it's so overwhelming. And for churches, there are so many reports that are happening with abuse happening inside of churches. How can I ever address all of that? We're just going to take it one disclosure at a time. So sometimes when we're considering the whole aspect of it or the whole forest, we as leaders who have clarity have to help individuals to see we're not the whole forest. We're just one tree, not the whole pie, just one piece at a time, and then journey with people to do that. It makes all the difference in the world, and that helps people to transition out of unhealthy situations and harmful situations, because most often people aren't there because they want to be on either aspect that I just explained, but it's because they don't know how to get up and get to the next tree.
Yeah. Wow. So what you said something, and I want to make sure that I say this again. If there's someone that's listening to this podcast right now, or you may listen to this podcast whenever, if you are in a place of desperation, in a place of needing encouragement, in a place not knowing where to go or what to do, just get up.
Yes.
Take the first step.
Yes.
Whatever your first step is.
Yes.
Because that's the most important thing to do.
Yes.
Take the step. And I would add, ask God. Ask God to show me, whether it's through a person whether it's through a rhema word, whether it's, whatever it may be for you.
Yes.
Just God, just help me to make it through, because I can attest, for me, that was what happened to me. God, I don't know, but like you just saying, Dr. Ray, it's just taking that first step. And
Mhm.
you know what, God, I don't know what's next. I don't know what's going to happen after this right here, but I'm trusting in you. So if you're
Yeah.
going through something, trust God.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes. That's so beautiful. And you know what? He will put that person or that resource in your path. Like I know that I can say this on his behalf, that he will put that person or that resource in your behalf. Trust it. And I say this, my social, I'm not, I'm on, we're launching on Monday, but it's Cup of Empowerment. Please, if you're hearing this, and I promise you I will respond, reach out to me through that platform and I will respond to you and get you connected with the resource. And I promise you that. And if it becomes overwhelming, which I hope it does, that means people are reaching out, then I'll put out a message and say next step what we can do. But do not get up because you don't know what to do. Use one of the resources that are on that you're getting right now on this podcast, and you'll get a number in just a little bit for the domestic violence, the National Domestic Violence Hotline.
yeah. And I wanna add this right here too. So for anyone that's listening, you know what we're talking about now, it's all spirit filled.
Yes.
This part is not in a script. It's not, this part right here is not rehearsed or anything. This is God. So I know that this is for somebody
Yeah.
to better themselves. So don't look at this and say, hey, I hear it, but I'm not going to take heed. Take heed, because God is trying to give you something. That's the importance of impact. That's why we here. We're not here just to say we on a platform. We here to really help someone move from what I call destruction to victory,
Mm.
from brokenness to healing, from burden to success. That's what we're talking about. And the people that's on here, everybody that's on here have walked the path. And so this is uh, overcoming through our testimony. These
Yes.
are the testimonies that God has given individuals to share. And so if you're watching, take advantage of it.
Please.
Dig deep, like Dr. Ray say. You know, go on to her sites, and we're going to put some up in a little bit for you if you're going through domestic violence. But I want to get. We're actually almost out of time. I do want to ask you one more. Actually, we do one more thing for us.
Sure.
Um, if you don't mind, would you just share your heart with our listeners, um, whatever God has put in your heart. But one thing before I do it, let me just share a little bit about you. I know we almost out of time, but you are the executive director of Safe Haven of Pender and Duplin County. You are the founder of Gravitational Pull and Couple of Empowerment Coaching, as
Hmm.
well as you have your doctor of ministry in leadership and renewal, two master degrees in counseling and theology, the, the yeah, yes, and theological studies, um as well as, and I want to, now this is what I have it written down, so I'm saying it, y'all. You was the mystery of ceremonies at the Impact Conference last year. I'm like, we put the plug in too. But I want to share not so much that, but I want to share who you are, because these are great accomplishments that you have done. Um, and so I want everybody to hear that before we ask you that question. And then the other thing, y'all, if you do, I'm going to my plug, y'all. If you want to see Dr. Tracey Ray, she will be at the 2026 Impact Conference. She's one of the keynote speakers. Last year she was the mistress of ceremony, but she'll be one of the keynote speakers. So we definitely want you to come out and see her on August the 8th. So without further ado, Dr. Ray, will you share with our audience a little bit of your thoughts?
Sure, sure. So If I had to leave something with the audience today, I want you to know that if you feel stuck in a situation, you're not stuck. And I know it feels like that, and I affirm you in that. I validate your feelings. I'm not saying, suggesting that you don't feel what you feel. Um, what I am suggesting is that there are resources all across the United States and Canada for sure to help individuals to be relieved from harmful situations. I want you to know that you don't deserve that you are made in the image of God, and He has great things for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you. And I want you to know that you can reach out to resources, the domestic violence hotline. That station is manned 24/7 by trained advocates, and they are willing to take your call and to assist you with the resources that you need. I want everyone to know who's listening on here that the journey that I have been on to be where I am today has been by fire baptism.
Mm.
And God has anointed me to do this work. And I don't say that arrogantly, but I say it with absolute confidence that it is his work. I am committed 100%, and anything that I can do to help you along the way on your journey, please reach out to me. If you are, whether you are a leader or survivor, someone who wants to get into the work of empowerment services, coaching, or just whatever I can lend my voice to, I am available for that. Please reach out to me and be encouraged. Be encouraged and walk in your purpose and in your joy.
Wow. Amen, amen, Dr. Ray. That awesome, awesome. So y'all, it be down at the bottom. You see the 1-800 number if you need to reach out. We like to always say on here when it comes to impact. Please, 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 if you have comments, if you want to subscribe, you can go to all of our social media sites. You can go to my Facebook pages, Eric Bowden, or you can go to my impact page. Definitely in the corner, you can scan the QR code. You can go to our YouTube page. Just reach out, reach out to us, and if you want to get in touch with Dr. Ray, you may be going through some things. We'll definitely connect you with her as well. So, Dr. Ray, we thank you for being on the show. We'll definitely have to get you back because we didn't get to any, any other questions. It was just, it was impact. It
Yeah,
was an impact.
absolutely. And it was what you said, it was for somebody. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
thankful for the way it went. And I look forward to seeing you all on August the 8th at the Impact Conference.
Yeah, well, thank you, Dr. Ray. Thank you, Dr. Ray. Yeah, so let's talk about what's coming up next Saturday on I Am Impact. We have the amazing Mr. Alex Alderman. He is a real estate, uh, I'm going to say, logo here in Columbia, South Carolina. He'll be on the show next Saturday talking about all the great things that he's doing to help people and his journey as well. So we're looking forward to seeing having Mr. Alex on the show next Saturday. Like we always say, please, 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 if you got a comment, if you're on live with us on Saturdays, we be right there answering questions that you may have. But go to our link tree as well. You can see all the upcoming events that we're having, y'all. You don't want to miss next month, around the middle of April. You should be seeing tickets go on sale for the 2026 Impact Conference. If you want to be a part of that, we want you to go ahead and get your tickets. Last year we were sold out, and we're anticipating this year that it'll be the same as it was last year. So if you want to be a part of that right there, get your early bird tickets. It's going to be at the Richland 2 Conference building in Sand Hill area, Columbia, South Carolina. And so more to come with that. Oh, so y'all, last week I forgot, but you know what? It is here today. Before we leave the I Am Impact podcast, we have to say our quote, our encouragement to lift us up and get us through the week. So are you ready? All right. Say this with me. I have the potential to be successful, walk in purpose, and reach the world because we all do. Have a good Saturday. Don't spend too much money today out there shopping and having fun, but take some time out to enjoy yourself. Thank you. See you next Saturday, 8:30 on I Am Impact. Have a great morning.